What up, my friends, and welcome to 2020. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about my number one goal for this year, and that is to tell a better story. At the beginning of every month for the last about year and a half, I've received an awesome notebook in the mail every month by a company called Log and Jotter. They send these notebooks out, they're only $5 a month, and it's really been a helpful tool for me in order to write my ideas down, keep track of my thoughts, and maybe even just if I'm like, oh, I need to remember to do that during the day, I'd write it down. And I was looking through the pages the other day because on the front and the back they have a little message and some information and tips and ideas on what you could write down in your own journal. And it says, make a story and tell a story. And this got me thinking about the fact that in everything that I do, in everything that we do, whether it's on YouTube or trying to promote your business or as an entrepreneur, grow whatever it is that you're trying to build, you need to be able to tell your story really well. Because that is what's going to captivate your audience. That's what's going to keep them in touch with what's going on and keep them engaged with the materials and the marketing that you're putting out all the time. It could get really boring if you didn't really want to tell a story and all you were just like, oh, just buy this product. But if you were to tell the story of, like, say this coffee mug, for instance. It's a mug that I had made by Jessica Thiesing, and she owns Mean Mugs Pottery in Salt Lake City, Utah. And during the month-long trip that my wife and I took this past summer, we actually drove there, and I spent a couple hours with her actually going through all of the stages in what she did in order to make these mugs. And also we recorded a podcast for my podcast called All American Maker. And I got to know her as a person, as a maker, and as a business owner. And that is the story of why I'm selling these mugs, because I wanted pottery mugs, but I didn't want them from a large company. I wanted them from an individual that had an incredible story to tell about how they got into business and why they started making pottery. All of these things came into play for me in how I could market this mug. And this goes across the board with anything that you're talking about. And so today I want to share with you guys 5 tips that I've found in order to tell a better story. My first tip for you guys today is just be yourself. It's really easy to try and copy other people or emulate the people that you look up to, or try to copy the things that other people do that you see succeeding, because it could be just like, well, if it worked for them, it could work for me. But the truth is, whatever you've got going on in your life, whatever niche that you've found that you're passionate about, that is the very thing that's going to make you succeed. And for me, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the things that I have, that I do, that I love, no one else is doing. I have a custom candle business that I love to be able to produce for other people. I've got a podcast called All American Maker where I interview other makers and get to know them on a personal level, and then we talk on the podcast about things that they've got going on, how they got into being a maker, and all of these things stem from what I'm passionate about and what I love to do. It's not what anyone else around me is doing, and that's what I love, because it's all about what I love to do. And for me, that means just being myself and going for it. My second tip for you guys is capitalize on your surroundings. Like, enjoy where you live and what you do, because it's really easy to get wrapped up in the fact that maybe you don't live in a travel destination. Maybe you don't get to travel as often as you'd like, or maybe as often as the people that you watch online. But capitalize on what you do as a business or as an individual and where you live, because you can only make the best of what you've got. And for me, that means a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be able to do is indoors, or maybe it's just out in a snowbank somewhere, because I live in Western New York and there's snow 5 months out of the year. But that's okay, because oftentimes we focus on the things we don't have, but overlook the things that are right in front of us. And for me, a lot of the stuff that I'm focusing on is business and entrepreneurship and how to grow a business. And for me, my business is here indoors in this warehouse, not outside in a beautiful scenic area. I'm not making travel films. Although I love to travel, that's not what I am focusing on, and that's not what I love to create content about. Focus on your surroundings, capitalize on them, and make the best of what you've got. Number 3 is collaborate with others. This is one of my greatest passions, and I absolutely love getting together with other people because you get to experience their perspective and see what they're capable of creating along the way. And when you meld your minds together and create something together, it always ends up being awesome. And it also doesn't hurt to have an extra set of hands or an extra camera or an extra perspective on what you're saying, speaking, or doing in that moment, because they might be like, well, did you think about it from this way? Or maybe what about these words? And oftentimes it comes out 1,000 times better than if you were trying to create all by yourself. Number 4 is take time to plan. Recently I was watching an interview between Casey Neistat and Mr. Beast here on YouTube, and something that Mr. Beast said really stuck out to me.
So like the way I like to look at it is if other people are spending 1 hour thinking of video ideas or whatever, probably more like 30 minutes, and like 5 hours filming, I want to spend 10 hours thinking of ideas and days filming. You know, it's not just spend more time on ideas, it's like everything.
This got me thinking about my own content and the way that I promote my business. A lot of times I do things very quickly, spur of the moment, like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta get it done, and I gotta get it out. But the truth is, the best quality content takes time to plan. And the best way to do that I've found for me personally is my tip number 5, and that is to write things down. And I use Log and Jotter. I use several different notebooks to categorize and organize all of my different thoughts. And by getting them down on paper and having them to reference in the future, that gives me the ability to have a clearer mind and more focus on what I'm doing in the moment. It also helps to be able to maybe use one of these as a calendar to write down your ideas for that day in particular. So if you're like, oh, I need to get this video out or this marketing campaign out by a certain day, then write that down and set it as a goal and put it on paper so that you have it as a reference point. And for me, using notebooks like these has really helped because I can just throw it in my back pocket, and whenever an idea pops into my head or I have something that I need to remember, I can write it down immediately so that I don't have to constantly be thinking like, oh, what was that idea or what was that thing I needed to remember? But I can just open this up, look inside and say, oh yeah, like that was a great idea, or oh yeah, I need to remember to do that, and I get it done. And oftentimes telling a story is all about categorizing and organizing your thoughts so that you have a cohesive flow with what's going on. So one of my main goals is to equip you guys to be able to tell a better story and to write down your goals for this year. So I've teamed up with Log and Jotter, and we're giving away 3 sets of 5 notebooks. 2 here on YouTube and 1 over on Instagram. And what you need to do in order to enter those giveaways is subscribe to my YouTube channel here on YouTube and comment below some of your goals for this year, because I want to be able to interact with you guys and to hear about what you desire for the future. And in order to have that accountability, that also helps you in order to reach your goals, because I'd love to be able to hear about them, and then I'll check in and see how you're doing and if there's anything that I can do to help. And then over on Instagram, make sure that you're following me and Log and Jotter in order to enter into the giveaway over there. And you can comment below on the post on Instagram in order to enter as well some of your goals for this year. You can copy and paste and put them on both YouTube and Instagram. But I want you guys to have multiple opportunities to win these, because they're all past issues of Log and Jotter. They're not available anymore. The patches and the stickers are no longer available. And it's just an awesome opportunity to do this giveaway. So thanks you guys for watching. Remember to subscribe, comment, and click the bell to get notified whenever I post a new video, and have a great day. I'm also linking Log and Jotter below if you guys want to subscribe and get a new notebook in the mail every single month for only $5. I highly recommend it. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now, and it's definitely something worth doing. It's only $5. It's like less than Netflix, but it's a great way to write down your ideas and your goals and accomplish things and be like, yes, I'm getting things done.